and to work so closely with you guys, and you do a wonderful job in your part of the world, getting everyone across that big stretch of ocean into the amazing French Polynesia. And of course, there's so much to see and do there. And once you're ready to finish with French Polynesia and start heading west, then Adam and I are looking forward to welcoming you into our patch of the Southwest Pacific. So today I'm going to be talking to you about cruising from French Polynesia onwards, and all the wonderful things that there are to see and do as you cruise through the Southwest Pacific and onto New Zealand or Australia as well. So my business is Island Cruising. It's been around for 40 years, or 41 years this year, actually. It was our 40th birthday last year. And we've been running rallies in this part of the world since that time, mainly through Tonga, Fiji, Vanuatu and New Caledonia, and on to New Zealand and Australia afterwards. So the Pacific Rally is one of the largest flexible cruising rallies in the world. It's a flexible format, so you choose your own dates and destinations, and we just provide support and resources for wherever you need it. I'll just turn my VHF down. You can join from anywhere, but our content typically starts from the Cook Islands as you head west, and we'll provide you with all the information, connection with the community heading your way, and support all throughout the region. We also do a lot of work with advocacy, working with all the local officials and people around the Southwest Pacific, biosecurity, customs, immigration, and just making sure that they're aware of what yachties are up to in this part of the world. And we can provide the bridge between the two communities to make sure that we all understand each other a little better. So we do a lot of work in that space. My name is Viki Moore. I'm the director of Island Cruising. I've been doing this since 2021. Bought the business sort of mid-COVID and have been running rallies since then. I'm a regional rear commodore for the Ocean Cruising Club, and also do a lot of other work in the yachting space in this part of the world. So I know David's going to disagree with me here, but the Southwest Pacific is the best part. So I really want to encourage you to hopefully take your time. You've hopefully spent more than 90 days in French Polynesia because there's so much to see there, but you really need multiple seasons in this part of the world to have a really good look around. Of course, there are some people that skip straight through and onto Indonesia in one season. That's absolutely doable, but if you really want to kind of stop and take your time, then you're going to find a really welcoming space here and lots to see and do in this part of the world. And we'll make sure that you don't miss anything great along the way. So first of all, a bit of a geography lesson. Of course, once you leave French Polynesia, you've got the Cook Islands here, which there's a number of different islands you're able to stop in along the way. You can choose to take the northern route and stop up in Samoa on the way to Tonga, or come through the middle and take your time to visit Niue before you come into Tonga. A lot of people do this in sort of one season and then come down to New Zealand for the winter, or you can spend just a shorter amount of time in Tonga and head over to Fiji, spend your time there and cruise down to New Zealand for the winter, or stay over in Fiji as well, which Adam will talk to you about. And then beyond Fiji, we've got Vanuatu, New Caledonia, and onto Australia, or some people choose to sort of head north and go on through Indonesia. So it's just a bit of a geography lesson, but New Zealand is perfectly positioned down here, a place that you can come and spend the summer from November through until April. There's fabulous cruising and things down here, and then you're perfectly positioned to bounce back up again to the Pacific and visit Tonga, Fiji, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, again the next season. So we'll talk a bit about those options as we go through the presentation. So why should you cruise the Southwest Pacific? I'm sure I don't need to convince you all, but one of the best things that you'll find here is the people. And there's a famous Māori proverb which says, what is the most important thing in the world? It is people, it is people, it is people. And you will meet amazing, welcoming, friendly people in this part of the world. And some of them have very little, but they'll share with you everything that they've got. And we've got some great local contacts in all the different islands who will warmly welcome welcome you, help you out with any problems you're having along the way, and make sure that you're fully stocked with vegetables, fruits, spare parts and bits and pieces like that. You'll also receive a wonderful welcome in New Zealand. But part of it is how you're treated here. It has a lot to do with how you treat others you meet along the way. And the islands of the South Pacific are really spectacularly beautiful and deeply fragile. And you as cruisers play an important role in protecting these places and continuing the long tradition of mutual respect between the communities. So that involves us respecting the local rules and regulations and learning about the culture and the places that you visit, just to make sure that you are respecting those traditions and ensuring that the yachties that follow in your wake are also continued to be welcomed in these beautiful places. So you'll find a really rich and amazing culture as you cruise through the Southwest Pacific. Adam, I'm sure, will talk to you more about what goes on in Fiji with the sevu sevu and the drinking of kava there. In Vanuatu, you'll find a very diverse and incredible culture and lots of traditions and festivals as you visit there. In Tonga, again, the people are more reserved in Tonga, but they are still very warmly welcoming. They've got a very rich culture. They're very religious people. They really respect Sundays, and there's no work, and obviously dressing respectfully in these parts of the world as well. In Vanuatu, this is some people doing the famous Pentecost land diving. Again, they want to welcome you and enjoy some of their traditions and cultural festivals. And then, of course, in New Zealand, the famous Māori. This picture was taken just a couple of weeks ago when they were giving us a farewell blessing and haka dance, which was blessing the fleet that was departing New Zealand and heading up to the islands, which is a really special moment. You'll also find an incredible history, and the Polynesians are, of course, famous for transiting through the Pacific, and this is in Tonga Tapu, actually. They've got their own version of Stonehenge down there, which is a super interesting place to go and visit. And, of course, their voyaging history and things as well is really, really interesting to learn about as you cruise along. I really love learning about Polynesian navigation. You've also got incredible wildlife. This is actually down in the bottom of the South Island, a sea lion there who wasn't overly excited about visiting yachties coming to visit him. But of course, in Tonga, you can come here and swim with the whales and enjoy a very special time with them here in Tonga from July. And of course, the underwater life. This is the Rainbow Reef in Fiji. For those of you who love snorkeling and diving, there's so much to see and do here. Of course, we've got incredible scenery. This is down in Whalunga in Fiji, which is a really popular place for all the cruisers to go and visit in the Lau group. And this is up in Vanuatu, the Bay of Islands in the Lau group. And Adam will tell you more about this beautiful place as well. And again, over through to New Caledonia. This is one of the first islands probably the last island that you'll see. At the Armadillo Lighthouse is where this photo was taken. Niue, if you can stop in Niue, I highly recommend it. It's sort of quite open to the weather conditions, and you need to be there at the right time. But Niue is an incredibly beautiful place and quite a unique landscape and things there in Niue. I recommend stopping there if you can. And of course, Minerva Reef is a popular place, high on everyone's places to stop, and is also a really convenient place to rest and take your time and wait for another weather window, particularly between New Zealand and Tonga or Fiji. There's also caves and all sorts of wonderful places that you can visit. This is Smokehouse Bay in New Zealand, where a cruiser has set up a pizza oven on the shore, and you can come ashore and make your pizzas. Diving in caves in Tonga here as well, and that's a freshwater cave in Tonga Tapu. And of course, the volcano in Tanna and Vanuatu. This is a really fabulous place. Super exciting, very dangerous, of course. You can just stand literally on the edge of this rim of this active erupting volcano if you dare, and look right into the depths of a volcano. There's no health and safety regulations. If you slip and fall, you're into the lava or down the other side of the volcano. But it's a spectacular experience and very exciting if you're brave enough to do it. And then, of course, New Zealand. There's incredible cruising in New Zealand and Auckland, and the amazing marine facilities, which I'll talk to you about as well. This is down in the Abel Tasman in the top of the South Island of New Zealand, and down in Fiordland in New Zealand for those who have got the time and are keen to get away from all the hustle and bustle. You can go down to Fiordland and pretty much have the entire place to yourself. That's Milford Sound. Of course, there's great water sports here as well. We've got foiling, we've got incredible surfing, which in Fiji, I'm sure Adam will tell you all about that, and amazing events and things as well along the way. So I mentioned before the Pentecost land diving in Vanuatu, which runs from April through until about June time. The Musket Cove Regatta in Fiji, which is in September, which is really high on the social scene if you're interested in that. The Tonga has a Sailors Festival also in September at the end of the year. And we also have lots of impromptu parties and things along the way for the people joining our groups. If you head to Australia, you've got the start of the famous Sydney Hobart race, of course, and New Year's Eve in Sydney Harbour is something that is very high on everyone's cruising agenda as well. It's quite an incredible experience, as you can see. Also in this part of the world, we've got amazing boatyard facilities. This is the boatyard in Tonga, up in Vanuatu, where I am at the moment. So they've got a really lovely protected spot there, especially even if you want to stay over the summertime. It's very sheltered in this former quarry area. If you head over to Fiji, we've got the Niue Marina, which is like a resort with a pool for your boat, or the Coppershed Marina over the other side there, which is where you'll clear in. Typically for those coming from the east, we'll clear into Fiji over here. And then, of course, Vunda Marina, which Adam is here from Vunda, which is a great space to come and get any repairs done, and also put yourself up on the hard stand there over summer. And Denarau Marina, which is like a really touristy place. Lots of the super yachts come in here and is a great gateway to get out to the Yasawas and Mamanutha Islands, not far from Vunda Marina as well. Across in Vanuatu, we've got the Port Vila, Yachting World Port Vila. They've got a great marina facilities there. And in New Caledonia, there's lots of wonderful yachting facilities and boatyards and chandleries and bits and pieces there as well. In New Zealand, again, fantastic marine facilities here, boatyards, marinas, if you want to park up the boat and go home or have a big refit done. And also over in Australia, this is Bundaberg Port Marina, which is where typically people will arrive into Australia. And the Boatworks in the Gold Coast is also another one. It's a very popular place. It's like Disneyland for boats there. It's amazing facilities. So why would you join us? Why would you join Island Cruising? You're able to cruise with us independently. Cruising independently can be amazing, but it can mean that you've got to spend hours researching, getting things wrong, missing the best parts, the endless paperwork and what have you, the formalities that start to get a bit more complicated as you move through this part of the world. You can make some expensive mistakes, which will make sure that you don't. And it can be a bit isolating if and when problems occur. So we can help you. We've got a couple of different options for those joining us in French Polynesia, which is mainly the Sail South to New Zealand and the Go West to Australia packages that we offer, which are 690 New Zealand dollars per vessel, which are around 400 US or 350 euros. They're digital information packages that will connect you with all the greater Pacific Rally content. And if you join early, you get the most benefit as you cruise through the South Pacific. So the cruising season in this part of the world typically runs from May through to November, and after that is cyclone season from November through until April. And you can choose your own dates and destinations. There's no set itinerary, and our content pretty much covers everything once you depart French Polynesia and start heading west. It can be really social. We can connect you with all the others heading in the same direction. It's a great way to meet all the local Kiwis and Aussies who are cruising the Pacific. We have a rally, dedicated WhatsApp groups, and lots of social gatherings along the way. But you can also be completely independent. There's no obligation to join the group. You can sail independently and do exactly your own thing. You don't need to be social if you don't want to. So we can help you plan your itinerary. As you can see, all of our boats are scattered all across the Pacific, and we can tailor your trip to make sure that you don't miss any of the best spots in the time that you've got available. And we can help you plan ahead to take advantage of any long-term visa restrictions and sort of your plans for the next few seasons. We have regular email updates with current events and news, detailed resources on our website, and we'll guide you through all the entry regulations that you've got coming up. We have lots of training webinars which are recorded so you can watch them later, and we give you correct information, not just rumour or hearsay that can sometimes be misconstrued in some of the other general WhatsApp groups. We'll help you with all the formalities and the paperwork, and there's quite a bit to it. In fact, the Aussies and the Kiwis, if they're going to all of the different islands, they had about 69 pages of documents to fill out before they set sail to do the entire loop around the Pacific. So we'll make it really easy for you to find all those paperwork documents. It's all detailed on our website. We have detailed notes and cruising guides on there, and also webinar recordings to help you make the most of your trip. It's really important if you are cruising independently or as part of our group that you understand the rules. Drug trafficking and maritime crime is a big problem in the South Pacific, and unfortunately yachties are being considered a risk in this area, so you're being very closely watched as you transit through the islands. So I recommend that you keep your AIS switched on. Do not stop in any countries until you're correctly cleared in. Report any suspicious activities that you see along the way. And you really need to ensure and understand you follow all the rules and regulations and formalities for every country that you're visiting. So if you're on the rally, we'll give you all of that information step by step. But if you're cruising independently, you really need to do your research before you set off. You may be boarded and searched in these places as well, and we'll make sure you understand your rights of when, where, and how you can be searched, and advocate on your behalf if you have any bad experiences, so long as you've obeyed the law, of course. We'll help you understand your destinations and some of the challenges that you might anticipate along the way. For example, Suaro is still definitely closed until June. I know we're in June, but they haven't actually opened yet. So we're keeping close eye on what's going on there in Suaro, and we'll let everyone know. But there's all sorts of other things to know, anchoring restrictions, special management areas, fishing regulations, all sorts of things along here that can kind of trip you up if you're not doing all of the research. We'll make sure that you know what's appropriate. We can also provide support if things go wrong. The political unrest a couple of years ago, we had a few problems in New Caledonia with rioting, and we were able to divert all the boats on the rally to go to Vanuatu instead, so they didn't arrive into this disaster. Last year we had a big tsunami warning with a Russian earthquake, which thankfully didn't amount to much, but there are natural disasters, boat breakages, issues at sea, and we're always on hand to help support you if you're having any problems along the way. We also work very closely with the New Zealand Search and Rescue Coordination Centre, and other helpful people such as Peter Mott from Passage Guardian and Patricia and David from Gulf Harbour Radio, who help support our fleet as they cruise through the Pacific. There are dramas that happen. This was one of our rally boats from last year that was dismasted, and we supported them, connecting them to the Australian Rescue Coordination Centre, who got them rescued by the Carnival cruise ship that was going past. There are some hazards to be aware of. This was a rally boat from 3 years ago that hit a reef in Fiji. That was, they thought they were 600 metres off the reef on the chart, but unfortunately the chart was incorrect. There are some issues in Fiji, so we'll make sure that you're aware of those hazards. We recommend that you use satellite navigation or satellite images to help you navigate in certain places around here as well. And we'll give you the tips on which ones are the hazards to really look out for along the way. For example, this is in Muscat Cove in Fiji. This was our track in here last year. So you can see just how far out the charts are, because we obviously weren't driving over the top of those reefs when we were going to find our anchorage. So you really need to have your wits about you. Use your eyes and use your satellite navigation images as well as you're cruising through, particularly Fiji, but also all the rest of the Southwest Pacific. We'll make sure you understand and respect the local protocols. So Sundays in Tonga, as I mentioned before, is a really religious day. No, you're not allowed to work or do boat jobs or noisy activities in Tonga on Sunday. The Sevu protocol in Fiji, I'm sure Adam will cover, and there's other practices such as Katoom in New Caledonia, and dressing respectfully when you go ashore, making sure that you've got your knees and shoulders covered, and in Fiji wearing a sulu is an appropriate attire to wear when you're going ashore to see the chief. We're also really keen to help protect the environment, so we can help connect you with citizen science projects such as Citizens of the Sea, where you can be part of this project towing a a device behind your boat to collect eDNA, and you get free training and free gear, and all sorts of fun things happen with that as well. But we recommend you use your holding tanks when you're anchored in anchorages. This is somebody's backyard and where they collect their food as well. But also responsible fishing, disposing of rubbish carefully, and obviously biosecurity, which is a really big thing, particularly when you get to New Zealand and Australia. So there are very strict regulations in New Zealand and Australia for both food, insects, pests on board, and biofouling in particular. And it can be costly if you're not well prepared or clued up as to what the rules are. So we'll provide you with all the information you need and save you time and money and hassle on arrival. You do need to have a biofouling management plan, and we'll give you a template to use for that. And we'll also give you guidance on the CITES regulation, which is a convention against trading in endangered species of flora and fauna, such as corals and shells. So we can make sure that if you are a shell collector, that you get an appropriate permit to bring them into Australia and New Zealand. Also, if you're travelling to Australia and New Zealand, you will require a visa. All international passport holders who aren't Kiwis or Aussies need a visa to visit New Zealand. There are a number of different options depending on your nationality and what you plan to do during your stay. For example, if you're planning on going home or leaving the boat or cruising for the whole entire period, you may potentially, depending on your age and where you've been, require a medical check, and we'll help guide you through the process and save you the hassle of applying for the wrong visa or running out of time. Particularly the people who are still in New Zealand at the moment. They've had a bit of a weather delay. For those who are on the rally, we're able to get you a longer stay, but other people only get a shorter stay, which can kind of cause havoc and make you have to apply for another visa if you haven't applied for the correct one while you're there. Insurance is an important one. So many marinas in New Zealand and Australia require at least a $5 to $10 million third-party liability cover, and we have a company who can offer top-up cover if required. So that's something to check on your insurance as you're heading this way. And we also have a huge range of rally partners. We can give you tips on the best marinas, the yards for maintenance repairs, and the marine goods and services throughout the Pacific. They often offer great discounts, priority treatment, and obviously great service and advice. So you can quickly recoup your rally entry fee by taking advantage of the discounts along the way. We'll help you book a yard or a marina. It pays to book ahead and get your spot secured. And there are a few little tricks and tips to be aware of there. Some yards don't allow you to do your own work or to bring in external contractors, so we'll give you advice on that as well. And we'll also give you lots of information about the weather patterns. Of course, you'll hear lots of people telling you horror stories about the passage between New Zealand and Australia. It is possible to get a great trip, a great passage between New Zealand and the islands. So don't believe all the horror stories. Of course, nobody sits around in the yacht club bar talking about the great trip that they had between New Zealand and Australia. So we'll give you the tips on how to pick a good weather window and what our weather strategy is. And we also give you weather advice from a meteorologist to make sure that you understand what you're doing when you're looking for a weather window. Cyclone season runs from November to April, so a lot of people have insurance that requires them to be south of a certain latitude by November, so most of our people start heading south around mid-October. We also have a crew seeker service, so we can help you access a large database of keen volunteer and professional crew if you wanted a delivery skipper to get the boat somewhere, and we can give you tips on all the logistics of getting people in and out of the country as well. And if you're staying in New Zealand and Australia over summer, the vessel can stay for up to 1 year, extendable to 3 years in Australia, and in New Zealand your vessel can stay for up to 21 months. That's the vessel, mind you, not the people. So we can help you with that. They generally allow visiting vessels to have goods and services relating to the boats tax-free. So if it's anything boat related, particularly in New Zealand, you can get 15% tax saving, and it's also possible in Australia, but not everyone over there does it. So we'll guide you on that. If you're selling your vessel, you're keen to sell it at the end of the season, I highly recommend doing a bit of due diligence first, and we can give you some general advice for which countries are best to do that in, and make sure you understand the regulations. There are a few traps for the unwary, and you can end up with a big tax bill if you get it wrong. So we can connect you with some reputable brokers to give you some advice in that space as well. If you come to New Zealand for summer, a lot of people tend to sort of park up the boat and get off the boat for a bit because it's nice places to leave the boat and get some work done. But if you do want to go cruising, a lot of people can spend the entire summer cruising around the Northland area up here, but also going south, doing South Island. You can do a figure-8 loop around the whole of New Zealand. Stewart Island, Fiordland, Marlborough area, Banks Peninsula both have incredible cruising as well. But otherwise, if you want to just park up the boat and rent a car, a lot of people enjoy doing that as well and just getting some time off the boat. Or you might like to go and park up and fly home and catch up with friends and family for summer as well. It's entirely possible. There's so much to see and do in New Zealand. Australia, same sort of thing. Most people will arrive up here into Bundaberg and maybe put the boat on the hard stand over summer up there, do a drive, or come down to Sydney and down to Tasmania, cruise around up there and then work your way back up the coast to Indonesia the following season, or join us again to loop back to the Pacific as well. So that's our Aussie group there who are all departing from the Gold Coast and heading up to New Caledonia. So following season, you can join us again on the Pacific Rally 2027, head back up to Tonga and Fiji if you're leaving New Zealand, or back to New Caledonia if you're leaving Australia, or join us again from Fiji if you've left the boat up there. And another great way to do another loop of the Pacific. So back to the overview of the different destinations. There's so much to see and do here. Please don't rush. Take your time in the South Pacific. You can also, if you come to New Zealand for summer, loop back again and do what you've missed in French Polynesia, connect up with David and his team again the following season, and then work your way west again in those southeast trades to get your way back across to this part of the world. So if you're keen to join us, you can check out our Island Cruising website. You can find our rally page here. We've got the Go West to Australia and South to New Zealand packages on our website. Just complete the registration form and then you'll get access to all of our resources. So we've got an AI assistant to help you search everything. Lots of different resources and all of the different islands and things that you're going to find. And we're doing a special offer for everyone on this call today, a $50 discount on the Go West or South entry fee for Pacific Puddle Jump members if you join before the 30th of June. Just say thank you for joining us today. So our website's islandcruising.nz. Any questions? I know that was a bit of a fast run through, but I want to leave plenty of time for Adam to talk about Fiji because it's such a fabulous place. But I'm happy to answer any questions if you've got any. Let me know.
Yes. Viki, how many seasons do you recommend spending in the Southwest Pacific?
Well, you can do so many seasons. You could be here forever. We've got people on the Pacific Rally who are on their 5th time to Fiji. So they just do Fiji every year after year. And I think they've still barely scratched the surface in Fiji. But if you are planning on circumnavigating the globe and you are planning on moving through, I'd recommend sort of leaving French Polynesia, coming through Tonga, the Cook Islands, Niue, Tonga, and into Fiji. You can get like a pretty good look around there and come down to New Zealand for the summer, spend the summer here, then bounce back up to Minerva Reef, maybe do the southern islands of Tonga and back to Fiji again, and then cross through Vanuatu, New Caledonia, and onto Australia. And then you can decide if you want to do it all again, come back again, or carry on up to Indonesia the following season. So at least 2 seasons to sort of have a decent look around, if you like, but certainly you could spend a lot more. As I say, we've got people that are on their 5th rally who still feel like they haven't seen it all. So you can definitely time it with your visas. It's worth doing a bit of planning ahead. There are a few restrictions with where you can go on multiple times, but yeah, that's what I'd recommend for sure. Any other
Viki,
questions?
Yeah, Viki,
Yeah.
it's John Muntz here. Just
Hi,
a
John.
question about joining your team. The $50 discount, how do we apply for that when we sign up? Is that a special code or something?
Yeah, just there's a comments box at the bottom. If you just say we're on the Pacific Puddle Jump webinar, I'll apply it for you
Lovely.
when I see your application come in. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much.
No problem. Anyone else? Well, I'm happy for you to contact me. My contact details, I'm sure David will share them with you, but you can also find me on our website. And yeah, I'll hand back to David and to Adam.
Hey, Vicky. Sorry, I didn't have any questions, but I just wanted to say hi. We already joined, and we'll
How
be
are
joining you in New Caledonia. We're going to be, this is Hemisphere Dancer. And so
How are
we're
you?
in French Polynesia right now. We're in the Tuamotus, and we're heading to Tahiti in about 10 days. We'll see David, and then we're heading to Australia. We plan to also join your group next year, and then we'll stay in Australia for hurricane season, and then join you again for who knows how many times. But hi.
Wonderful. Oh, so nice
Or
to
do
see
we
your
make the
faces.
tracker?
Thanks for saying hi.
Don't worry about the tracker.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. We look forward to
Uh,
seeing you along the way. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'd just like to reinforce the services that Vicky provides. Vicky and her team, world class. Their response time is almost instantaneous. I don't know if Vicky actually sleeps. She may be half vampire, because she's very, very responsive, and they offer a great service. So definitely
Thanks, Adam.
check them out if you're coming to this part of the world.
Great. Oh, we love you.
I've
We
just
love
got
you guys.
I've got a quick question for David. David, the people that are on this this webinar, are they predominantly already in French Polynesia, or some are in the States? Where is everybody?
Some are already in French Polynesia. Most of them, in that case, have just arrived. A few of them are still crossing, and just a handful of them are still about to leave and cross the ocean.
Right. Okay.
But so everybody will be in French Polynesia within 1 month. For
Right.
those that are here yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Excellent.
You guys are going to love it.
Yes. Yeah. Most of you that are already in French Polynesia, you've already done the hard part. After that, it's just it's easy island hopping from there. So you've done the tough crossing. Should I kick off with my section,
Yeah.
David?
Yeah,
Right.
go ahead.
Let's see.
Hey, I
Hopefully
have
this
a quick
works.
question for Vicky. One question for Vicky.
Sure.
Jim and Lisa here. We're in Marquesas still, and my question: we're planning on hauling out in Tonga for the season and coming back. So joining your rally, if we joined it this year and then carry on next year, is basically one rally fee cover us all the way through Vanuatu, etc. Or 2 seasons is two rally fees.
Normally it's 2 separate seasons, but I'm very happy to chat about your plans and stuff. If you're not coming down to New Zealand, then we can definitely do a shorter package for you. So absolutely happy to chat about that, Jim. No problem at all. Drop me a message.
Okay. Yeah, very good. Because we're not going the New Zealand Australia route this fall. So but would be interested in perhaps joining you for the rest of this season and then through next year.
Absolutely.
So
I
very
can
much.
tailor something to suit you. No worries at all.
Okay, thanks, Vicky.
Vicky, can I ask you a question?
You can.
Yeah, I'm actually in the Marquesas too, in Daniels Bay, and we are planning to leave Tahiti in April next year and head to Tonga. And my question is, what's it like hauling out in Tonga for the cyclone season? Because my insurance won't cover me, so I'll just have to take a risk if I want to do that. But what
sure.
experiences have you had of the Vavao boatyard?
It's great. It's sort of in an old quarry. So one side of it is like a huge kind of cliff, and they have a great sort of trailer. They can lift you out, and they tuck everyone in really snugly in the lee of this cliff area. And Vanuatu is a great place for sort of having not having many cyclones come through. Like I don't think they've had a direct hit on cyclones for quite some time, according to the boatyard. So it's a real sheltered, hot spot. So yeah, I think I would be quite happy with leaving a boat there. We've had quite a few rally participants have left their boats there over the summer. So yeah, they're quite happy with the service there.
And is there somewhere to leave the boat if we go back to the UK during, our summer, so their winter, I guess? So June, July, August, are quite good facilities there.
Yeah, you could. There's no marina or anything like that in Tonga, so you might just feel kind of more confident just lifting the boat out and leaving it ashore while you go home during that period. So,
Okay.
But yeah, very happy to connect you with Joe and Al, the boatyard guys here, and they can give you some local advice. So I'm just around the corner from the boatyard now.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll do the same as the previous call. I'll drop you a private message. Because I've got a number of other questions, but I'll definitely join your rally for next year. This year we're just independently mooching around the Marquesas.
Enjoy. Yeah. No worries. Drop me a message.
It's not terrible.
I bet.
Yeah, Richard, the boatyard in Vaval is a very well protected haul-out facility. It's about 30 meters above sea level. It's quite a long ramp, but excellent spot to ride out.
I'm 20 tons and 2.2 meters, and I paid to be hauled out in the Marquesas, and I got here and they said, "You're too big," Thanks very much.
They've got a 40-ton trailer.
I hope they're not going to do that to me in Vaval.
They've got a 40-ton trailer, and so they'll be able to do that very easily.
Cool. Okay. I'm sorry to take up your time.
No
Yeah,
problem.
Viki, I've just got one more question, if that's all right. And we've just bought or looking at buying a boat settling soon in Papeti. And so we're newbies. We haven't done the ocean crossing, so it's a bit daunting for us to now travel west. But we have noticed in looking at our sailing plan that there's a forecast El Nino for this coming cyclone season. And it seems as though while that's great news for the east coast of Australia, it's not so good news for French Polynesia. We're originally looking at perhaps leaving the vessel here in French Polynesia for the cyclone season, but there's suggestion there that there'd be a heightened risk with an El Nino effect for this coming cyclone season. Have you got any comments or experience or offer some advice in that regard?
Yeah, it's something that we've been kind of keeping a close eye on. I haven't really been looking at the French Polynesia side of it, but certainly what the impacts will be for those in the Southwest Pacific. And it has been an odd season for the Kiwis trying to get up to the islands. The weather is obviously so variable all the time at the moment, but we do have meteorologists kind of keeping an eye on all of this sort of thing. So it's probably a little bit, what's going to actually happen in French Polynesia is probably a little bit outside of my area of expertise. But again, drop me a message and I can connect you with our meteorologists and get their opinions for you as well.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, thanks very much, Viki.
No worries.
Okay, if there's no more questions for Viki, and this is a good time to do it because she is a wealth of information. But if there's no more, I'll kick off. Can you guys see my screen and what it says?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Looks good.
So voyage to Fiji Islands, you can see that skipper's briefing?
I can, yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right, so Viki gave a great overview of the entire Southwest Pacific. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more on the Fiji Islands. We're going to talk about Fiji in general, why you want to come to Fiji, the documentation and arrival requirements, and talk about some of the marinas throughout Fiji. As Viki showed with her presentation, you guys are now in French Polynesia. You've done the hard part. Now it's just island hopping, Cook Islands, Niue, Tonga, Fiji, Vanuatu, New Cal, and then back down to New Zealand and coming back up and forth as you please. But the key takeaway from what Viki was saying is go slow. Don't rush through this part of the world. It's an excellent place with many benefits to it, and we hope that you don't rush through it, because you won't do justice to any of the destinations by skipping through quickly. So hang on. So I'm just going to play a quick little video. Many of you may have heard of Sailing Parlay. They've got a YouTube channel where they document their experiences on a yacht. They've got a 45-foot lagoon, and they have just finished their sail through the South Pacific. If you want a great overview of the entire South Pacific journey, Google search Sailing Parlay mini documentary, and you'll get the full 36-minute version of the whole thing. When I first saw it, I was I'm in the yachting industry. I'm surrounded by yachts, and I watched that and went, oh my God, I'm going to quit my job and just start sailing around the South Pacific. It is that good of a video. But I'm going to show you just the quick 3-minute Fiji version. So bear with me 1 second. Hopefully this comes through with sound. And Viki, can you let me know if the sound doesn't?
Fiji has 4 ports of entry, including Savu Savu, which is the closest place to Clarion if you want to head to the Lau group of islands, which are often described as the most beautiful part of Fiji.
We've been dreaming about this for years, basically. Everyone raves about Fiji as being one of their favorite sailing destinations ever.
You also have Suva and Denarau Marina, which has berths big enough to even accommodate super yachts. But for us, we couldn't resist experiencing the warm welcome of Vunda Marina.
Vunda Marina, this is Parlay, do you copy?
Which we had heard about from so many friends along the way, and boy did it live up to expectations. It's no mean feat sailing from New Zealand to Fiji, and to be welcomed into the country with such big smiles and open arms sets the bar pretty high as the most incredible welcome in any country in the world I've ever been to.
No other country would you get that. Unbelievable.
My eyes, my goodness, that was just so emotional. It was incredible.
And for the remainder of your time in Fiji, you'll be met with the same smiles as you did on this day, which is a legitimate representation of what the people of Fiji are truly like. And right off the doorstep of Vunda Marina, you'll find some of the best waves in the world, such as Cloudbreak or restaurants.
The best wave of my life. Really? It was insane, yeah.
Which are openly accessible by boat or dinghy, with none of the localism that you may have experienced at other surf spots around the world. There's so much to do in this whole area, whether you want to relax at one of the floating bars or get your adrenaline going with some serious off-road adventures. Fiji has it all.
That was the best ride I've ever done. That was so fun.
And just to the west of all this action are the Yasawa Islands, where you can get back to enjoying Mother Nature in all her glory.
On top of the world.
As with all of the South Pacific Islands, the local communities make this more special and unique than anywhere else I've ever been on my travels. And the kids grow up living life so free and full of life. Kava is a huge part of the lifestyle here as well, which brings people into a relaxed and loving state, a unique experience in its own right.
We're going to go see how they prepare the kava. There's some banging going on.
And a completely natural way to get a little buzz on, in moderation, of course. Fiji is one of those places where one season just doesn't feel like long enough. So you have fair warning that it will be hard to leave this place, believe me.
So before I do a deep dive into what Fiji has to offer, I'd just like to make mention about that haul-out facility in Vavau. That's our sister haul-out facility. As you can see, that very big, long ramp, it's 30 meters above sea level and very, very well protected. On the right-hand side of that bottom photo is the cliff that Viki was talking about, and they've got a great haul-out facility that can haul out vessels up to 40 tons. But I'm going to get into a little bit more deep diving into Fiji. So just first off, an introduction for myself. So I'm the general manager of Vunda Marina in Fiji. I was born in Australia, but moved here when I was only 5 years old with my parents, and I've been now in Fiji for 41 years. So I know a little bit about Fiji. So Fiji was settled 3,500 years ago, and the original people that arrived into the country arrived on what they called the Drua, which is the forerunner of the modern catamaran. Some of these were up to 30 meters long. They could take 200 people at a time. They were very fast canoes. And in the early days, Fiji had a reputation as being very fierce warriors and cannibals. And because of that reason, most of the other islands in the Pacific were discovered and colonized a lot earlier than Fiji. Captain Cook and Bligh, they came through the country in the 18th century, but they didn't bother stopping because they were scared of getting eaten. And it wasn't until Christianity arrived in the 19th century that those early missionaries convinced the local people that cannibalism was a very bad thing, and that they should worship God. And because of that, the last known act of cannibalism was in 1860. And interesting fact, if you look in the Guinness Book of Records, the world record holder for the most number of people eaten is by a Fijian guy named Ratu Undre, who ate 999 people. And they know that because he had outside his house, he kept the skull of every single person, and he had this big pyramid of skulls, which is a little bit morbid, but we're in the Guinness Book of Record for one thing at least. In 1874, Fiji was ceded to Britain because of an unpayable debt to the US. And for almost 100 years, Fiji was a British colony. And in that time, the British introduced roads and government and power and water and all the infrastructure to go along with it. But they also wanted Fiji to be an independent nation and basically pay for itself. So they also introduced farming. And one of the things that they determined Fiji was very good at, because it has very fertile grounds and lots of rain, is that sugarcane would be a great thing to grow in Fiji. They had a hard time, though, trying to convince the local workforce that they should plough the land for this food that basically nobody could actually eat. So they couldn't get the Fijians to work. So what they did is they brought in indentured labourers from India in the 1920s. And they would come on a 5-year contract. At the end of that contract, they were then given the choice to either go back to India with their family, or the government at the time would give them a 10-acre block that they could keep for themselves and farm on a 99-year lease. So most of them, or 95% of them, actually ended up staying on in Fiji. And because of that, Fiji has a very vibrant multicultural society with a mix of Italke and Indo-Fijians. And a smattering of many other cultures. On the 10th of October in 1970, Fiji gained independence from Britain, and on that day every year we celebrate Fiji Day to celebrate our independence. So demographically, Fiji has 333 islands at high tide. At low tide, there's a lot more. The two main islands are Viti level and Vanuatu level. There's almost 1 million people that live in Fiji, but predominantly 70% of them are on those two main islands. Suva is the capital, and that bottom photo in the corner is the capital. And the capital is actually quite big. It's about 360,000 people live in Suva, and it's the home of the government, insurance companies, manufacturing, banks, UN agencies. There's a big university there. It's actually very vibrant. It's the commercial hub of the Pacific, and a lot of people give it a miss. It's not very touristy, but it is a great experience. I recommend people go there at some stage. But your main cruising grounds are Lau, Sabu-Sabu, the Asawas, and the Mamanuca Islands. So this is just a quick little video. And just a quick question for Viki or David. Did that video come through clearly, or was it a little bit scattered and sound?
It was a bit glitchy, a bit sort of.
Bit glitchy. Okay.
You could still see it. You could still see it, but it was still a bit kind of. It wasn't flowing smoothly for me, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I might skip this video. It's just a little overview by Tourism Fiji. I'll show you another video later on, but hopefully it won't be glitchy. So we'll skip this one. So Fiji typically has 2 seasons. They're the sailing season. Viki mentioned this for the whole South Pacific. The sailing season from the 1st of May until the end of October, and cyclone season is from the 1st of November until the end of April. Generally in sailing season, it's dry. We don't have that much rain, but you do have your consistent southeast trade winds, which can make anchoring a little bit challenging. You've always got to be aware of what's happening with the wind strength and all the rest of it. I actually recommend to most of my friends the best time to actually sail Fiji is actually in the cyclone season. This is the monsoon months. You get it's hotter, but generally you get an afternoon shower, which helps cool things down. And despite it being called the cyclone season, predominantly we have very light winds for 99% of the time. You don't have to, you could drop anchor, you can sleep soundly, not having to worry about dragging anchor or anything like that. You do need to obviously keep an eye on the weather every day. But I recommend that, wake up in the morning, check your weather. Generally, weather forecasting these days is pretty good. You could see 7 days out. If there's a hint that maybe there's something coming in, find your little hidey hole, go into that, wait for the weather to pass, and then go back out sailing again. We can go years without a direct hit. We had a little bit of a scare in April this year. There was a cyclone called Vanuatu. It went in between Vanuatu and Fiji, but it didn't cause any significant damage at all. And prior to that, we hadn't really had anything of any significance for 8 years. So you just never know. So it's always good to have your little bolt holes that you're ready to go to. So decisions. Why do you want to go to Fiji? Well, your boat can stay in Fiji for up to 2 years. You as people, you're subjected to the normal tourist visa arrival, which is you get 4-month visa on arrival. You can extend that for another 2 months if you want. And even if you want to stay even longer, you can apply for what they call a special purpose visa, which gives you an additional 6 months. So you could stay in the country for up to 1 year without having to leave. But every time you do leave, you come back, it restarts the clock for another 4 months. So some people just simply, they're watching the internet when they're seeing a good sail on Fiji Airways. They jump on, they go back, see friends and family, and then a couple of days later they come back. So during COVID, it really re-emphasized to the Fiji government how important the yachting industry was, and so they took it from an 18-month stay to 2 years. So you're allowed to leave your boat here, and similarly to people, when you leave via plane, you restart the clock. If you take your boat out to another foreign destination, a lot of people go up to Wallace, which is north of us. It's a 3-day sail. They come back. This is towards the end of their 2 years. They leave, do their stamp in Wallace. They come back, and it restarts the clock for another 2 years. So the record in Wallace was 45 minutes. Somebody anchored, went into the authorities, stamped their passport, jumped back on their boat, came back to Fiji. And so within a week, they were back here and restarted their 2 years again. There's lots and lots of things to do while you're in Fiji. The scuba diving, and Viki showed some great photos of some of the scuba diving in Fiji. Fiji is known as the soft coral capital of the world, and there's 3 dive sites in particular that everybody should try and get to. They are the Great White Wall, the Rainbow Reef, and the Astrolabe Reef. There's also surfing, as mentioned in that video. Cloudbreak restaurants, they're probably 2 of the top 10 waves in the world. Excellent fishing, zip lines, mountain biking, world-class golf courses. There's whitewater rafting, skydiving, waterfalls galore, cave tours. You can do the river jet boat rides. Mud baths are just around the corner from us. The floating restaurant called Cloud 9. Kula Eco Park, the Church of the Black Christ. Fiji's a very religious place, so there's lots of cultural and religious opportunities for you. Firewalking is a phenomenon that people from the island of Benga, and only the people from the island of Benga can actually walk on fire. They've been given the ability to walk on these white hot rocks that have been burning for 6 hours. And I've seen it personally. I've touched those rocks. They are genuinely, they'll give you 3rd-degree burns, and they will just stand on there like it's nobody's business, and it does not faze them at all. The Fiji Museum is in Suva. It's got great exhibitions, and the current one that they have in the museum is called Voyages, and it's all about the arrival of the first Fijians into the country. It's excellent presentation. Fiji's also got great shark diving. You can swim with the manta rays between certain islands, and if you're a kite surfer or a foiler, Fiji's got excellent wind and sheltered waters, but nice and strong winds. At some stage, I recommend everybody parks up their boat for a week or so, jump in a car and explore the islands of Viti Levu and Vanuatu Levu. There is a ferry that a roll-on, roll-off ferry that goes between the two islands, and you'll just get a much greater appreciation of Fiji. The coastal roads are fantastic. Suva is surprisingly big. It's got great restaurants and bars, and the scenery as a whole is excellent. So at some stage, you should definitely try and do a road trip. Fiji probably has the best air connectivity out of any of the island nations in the Pacific. Fiji Airways has direct flights to LA, San Francisco, Hawaii, Vancouver, Tokyo, Singapore. It's got 72 flights a week to Australia. It's got something like 40 flights a week to New Zealand. Pretty much it's better than almost all countries in the Pacific. Many countries, you will actually end up flying to Fiji to then catch your flight out. It's considered the hub of the Pacific. This is just an examples of Fiji Airways that was on sale. So a return flight from LA to Nandi was $748 US. Same with San Francisco and Dallas, but I think they might be dropping Dallas soon, just because of this fuel cost. So it's very affordable. You just need to look out for when they're having specials on. Fiji has great internet. If you don't have 4G, then you've got 5G. The two main providers are Vodafone and Digicel. It's very affordable, so you'll get 250 gig for only $16. I recommend people either take a Vodafone, and often I'll tell them if they're going out to a certain distant island, also take a Digicel. Starlink also works, but you've just got the redundancy that you can check out your satellite images, overlay that with your charts, just to make sure that you're on the right track. Viki also mentioned the Muscat Cove Regatta. So every September for the last, I think it's been 42 years now, the Muscat Cove Regatta is on. It's a 1-week festival of all things sailing. They have round the island sailing races. They've got pirate days. They've got Hobie regattas. There's a whole bunch of different things. There's about 100 odd, the last one was 125 yachts were part of the regatta. It's a lot of fun, water-based activities and land-based activities. One of the land-based activities is a run around the island. It's a 5K run with every 1 kilometre a rum shot. So by the time you finish, you're well and truly need a rest, put it that way. Fiji is very affordable, so I won't go through all these, but you know, a bottle of beer is $1.20. This is in US dollars. Diesel at the moment is $2.06 a litre. You could get a casual labourer to work on your boat for $3.70 an hour. Loaf of bread's less than $1. It's a very affordable place to be. You can also get some work done on your boat. So mechanical work, spray painting, sail and canvas, carpentry, fiberglass, electrical, rigging, pretty much you name it, you can get it done here. Fiji does have a very developed maritime industry, and we've got some really good workmanship that is being done here at the moment. If you need a part for your yacht that is not available locally, then you can import it from wherever it needs to come from, and it will arrive duty-free as long as you quote your rotation number. So everybody that arrives into the country will receive a unique rotation number. That number is unique to your vessel, and so anything that arrives into the country, as long as you've noted that it's coming to your vessel and this is your rotation number, then that is considered a yacht supply and stays on board. Just some examples of some of the work that's been done here in Fiji, from spray paints to re-rigging, sail work, all the rest of it. So some of the other reasons to stay and play in Fiji Fiji, the national language is English. It's spoken in Parliament. It's taught in schools from 5 years old. So you could be in a remote village in the middle of nowhere and you can still have a conversation with somebody, and that ability to communicate and find out the stories and the legends and just have that dialogue with people is excellent. It's also very safe. So gun ownership is illegal in Fiji, and like the rest of the Pacific, it is very safe. And Fijian people are considered some of the friendliest in the world. They are cheerful, they are loving, they're full of laughter. It's an amazing country. The thing that I love about it is that you have the best of both worlds. You've got your modern conveniences, you've got your remoteness and isolation, and for example, right here where I am at Vunda Marina, we're 15 minutes away from the closest city, which is Tonga, where you can get pretty much anything you want. Great supermarkets, hardware stores, markets. The wealth of items that are available is fantastic. It's hustling, bustling, but within an hour and a half, you can be on a completely isolated, remote island with absolutely nobody around you. You can stay out there for 2 or 3 weeks. Once you start running out of supplies, come back in, get whatever you need. And so that's that best of both worlds situation that I love about Fiji. We were also talking, well, Viki was talking about the sevu sevu and the drinking of kava. So your experience in Fiji will be greatly enhanced if you present your sevu sevu. And sevu sevu is essentially, it's going to somebody's house. If you've been invited to somebody's house, you'll normally go with a bottle of wine and say, hey, thanks for having us, here's a bottle of wine. In Fiji, it's frowned upon to give alcohol. And so in its place, you give kava. And kava it's the next slide. So it is the dried up root of the kava tree. It grows for about 3 years. They pull it out when it's ready to harvest. They dry it out, and then they'll pound it into a fine powder. That's then put into a cloth, and it's squeezed kind of like a tea into this beautiful brown liquid that tastes as good as it looks. It's an acquired taste, put it that way. But essentially, what you will be doing is the rule of thumb is if you drop anchor and you can see a village in the distance, then you don't have to, but it's a nice thing to do. Jump in your dinghy, go across, land on the beach, somebody will meet you, and you just ask if you can see the chief. Everybody knows who the chief is. They will then take you to that person and you will present your kava. And it's just a small amount of kava. It's a token gesture more than anything else. It's like, hey, I'm in your backyard. Do you mind if we come and stay? So you'll present your kava to them. They will then they'll normally mix some and they'll offer it to you. The tradition is when you're presented with that half coconut shell full of kava, you clap once, you accept the kava, you drink it all in one go, you give it back, and then you clap 3 times. That's the traditional etiquette of drinking kava. Don't sip it and don't go, ooh. You got to down the hatch. So some of the other cultural immersion, the village etiquettes. So if you do go into a village, these are the general rule of thumb. You're not going to get told off or anything like that. Everybody knows that you're not from Fiji. But if you want to respect the local traditions, then generally it's dress or clothes below the knee. You cover your shoulders, never wear a hat in a village, don't wear shoes into a house. When you're invited into the house, you'll be invited to sit on the floor, ideally cross-legged. If you can't do that cross-legged, then kind of side saddle. And it's frowned upon to touch people's heads in Fiji. So just don't do those kind of things. Some people kind of have a little bit of pushback about doing the sevu sevu and offering the kava. And the way I see it, the analogy that I give is that if you were at your home and you've just finished your lunch, you're doing your dishes, you looked out the window and you saw these kids had jumped over your back fence and they were on your swing set, and you didn't know who they were. You come out there, you'd raise your fist at them, you'd tell them they're little buggers and to scram, and they'd jump over the fence and run away. But if those same kids came to your front door, knocked on the door and said, excuse me, sir, we saw you've got a really nice play set at the back. can we go out there and have a play? You would be like, man, how good are these kids? Absolutely. Come on in. Here's some chocolate while you're at it and enjoy your time. So it's the same kind of thing. You're just asking for permission to be in their backyard. So this is a quick little video. Hopefully this one comes through. It doesn't have any words. It's all video, so maybe it might be a bit glitchy. Viki, what do you think? I skip this one?
Give it a try. It's beautiful. I love it.
Okay. It is a very cool video. So this video was produced by an American guy named Kurt, who's been living on his little 38-foot monohull for about 10 years while he's been in Fiji. He's a drone operator, and he produced this video just to show his friends and family what he's been up to while he's in Fiji. It's not a tourism thing. It's just him living his best life. So hopefully this comes through. It's only about a minute and a half, so hopefully it won't be too glitchy, or 2.5. So hopefully that video did come through, because to me that is the best representation of what your holiday while you're in Fiji is going to be like. So once you have decided, yep, I want to come to Fiji, then you get into the documentation and arrival requirements. And Viki was mentioning that there's, in the Pacific, 65 odd pages. Well, 13 of them come from Fiji alone. So definitely best to go through Viki and her team to help you navigate that. It's not that tedious. If there's something that's not applicable, you just leave it blank. It's not the end of the world. But they do want to know who's coming ahead of schedule. There are 4 arrival ports in Fiji. They are Savu, Denarau Marina, Vunda Marina, where we are, and Suva. So you need to complete your C2C form, and that's the name of it. If you just simply search Fiji C2C form, it'll be the first one that pops up, and you just fill those details in and send it through. This is an example of it. That's the first page, and you just go through each of the pages. A lot of it is just reading. You don't actually have to fill it in. We do have a bonus for any inward clearances that happen here with us. So when you clear into Fiji at Vunda Marina, you now receive 2 nights included in your clearance fee. So it's great value and a great option to rest after your ocean crossing. and you do get that very cool arrival experience with our team coming down there and singing you a song. So a few notes about arriving into Fiji. So biosecurity and pets. They're tricky. The pet needs to be in a rabies-free country for at least 6 months prior to arrival into Fiji. Can I just ask, does anybody on this this chat actually have pets? Is traveling with pets? Anybody? Hopefully not, because pets is like just, I don't know why people travel with pets. It's such a pain. So I can skip all that. The general rule is don't arrive with fresh fruits or vegetables, no honey whatsoever, no pork products at all. So no pork sausages, no bacon, no ham, no spam, none of that kind of stuff. And no meats from North America. But by the time you get to Fiji, I'm pretty sure your North American food will be well and truly up. Frozen meats and packaged goods from other countries are generally fine. So this is just an overall view of Fiji. You've got the two main islands, Viti level and Vanua level. And then out to the east, you've got the Lao group, and this is often skipped. Many people come in from Tonga or French Polynesia. They go through the Lao group to clear into Savu. And because it's a little bit of a beat into the wind, they often skip this. But this is probably the best cruising in Fiji, almost anywhere in the world. There's a few islands in particular called Fulanga and Ongea, which I've met people that have circumnavigated the world multiple times, and they say those two islands are the most spectacular islands that they've ever seen. Out to the west, you've got the Yasawas and the Mamanuvas, and then we're over here together with Denarau Marina as well. So talking about
Adam,
the marinas,
can I just ask one thing there, just to go back to that map?
Yep.
Just be aware that you must not stop in the Lao group on your way into Fiji. You must clear in first before you go to the Lao group. It's really very, very important. You cannot stop there on your way in.
Yeah, if you do get caught, as Viki was mentioning in her talk, there's a big scare at the moment with the number of drugs that are coming through, not for the Pacific Islands. They're actually on their way to Australia and New Zealand, but they're coming from South America, and there's concern that some of them are arriving on yacht. And so it's very important that you do clear into the country first properly. You'd be given your rotation number, your coastal clearance papers, and then you can go anywhere you like. But definitely do not stop in the Lao group, either coming from Tahiti or Tonga or coming up from New Zealand and going through. They're definitely big no-no. And that pretty much goes for almost anywhere. So some of the marinas in Fiji. So our sister marina is in Vanua level called the Coppershed Marina. There's also ourselves on Viti level, Musket Cove, Port Denarau, the Royal Suva Yacht Club, and Niue Island. And here's just some photos. So the Coppershed, Musket, Denarau, and ourselves, and the new one that is opened about 3 years ago called Niue Island in Savu. So a little bit about ourselves. So we've got 150 in-water berths. We've got a 63-ton travel lift, 50 hardstand spaces. We have a 47-ton multi-hull trailer, a yacht chandlery. We have cyclone pits as well, and I'll talk more about them later. We've got affordable accommodation on site. So if you've got friends or family that want to come and visit you, or you're getting some work done, you can either pick them up from the airport. They can have a couple of nights in the accommodation while you get your boat ready, or you're doing some work, jump off the boat, have some air-conditioned comfort. Fuel dock is available. We've got diesel, unleaded, and premix, and we are a boarding station. We've got a great restaurant on site, little kids play area, and we are considered a proven storm shelter and recognised by many insurance companies as a place where if your vessel is kept with us, particularly in a cyclone pit, they will recognise your coverage. We have successfully navigated 30 years of cyclones. This year is our 30th year. I've got more than 100, I'm probably the most overstaffed marina in the world. I've got 110 staff, and we have great retention rates of over 80%. So most of my guys have been here for many, many years, which is great because I keep hold of their knowledge and their skills, and I've got a great team that looks after the place. And we're very close to the Mamanutas and the Asawas, as I mentioned earlier. Go for a sail. Within an hour and a half, you're on a remote island destination with just yourselves, or you're very close to Nandi Airport, Lautoka City, if you're in with us. So each marina is different, but this is and all rates are different as well, because it all depends on the size of your boats. But our rates are on our website. Here's an example of a 40-foot yacht that weighs less than 20 ton. I won't go through all of them, but if you stayed in the water for a month, it'd cost you $460. If you stayed on the hard, it's $35 a day. If you took a cyclone pit, they're $760 a month. Including in those rates is water, electricity, and we even give you free ice, because nothing more important than cold drinks at the end of the day. And we also have free Wi-Fi as well. So with us, there's 3 basic options. They are the in-water berths, cyclone pits, and hardstand. So in-water berth is obviously if you're going to be staying on board, you want to keep using your boat, going out exploring, especially over cyclone season, then this is your best option. You have a dedicated berth. It's yours for the entire season. You can come and go, and it's not going to be filled or taken up by anybody else. This is great for especially if you've got friends and family coming from the airport. The airport is only 17 minutes away. So you can pick them up, go sailing out for a week or 2, come back, drop them off very close to the airport as well. We've also got LPG refill station just around the corner from us, and we've got a combination of floating and fixed options. So cyclone pits, if you have a monohull and you want to leave your vessel for an extended period of time, maybe you want to go back home, you've got work to do, visit friends and family, whatever the reason is, maybe some medical, then this is your best option. And essentially it's a keel trench. We take the travel lift over that trench, we lower you down into the cyclone pit. Your keel takes about 70% of the weight on the bottom of that pit, and we nestle your hull with tires to help with stability. We also have some cyclone straps that can be used to add further rigidity to your vessel, and we've got ground anchors throughout the whole marina. This is the greatest option in terms of cyclone season because it is impossible for you to fall over. Obviously, the biggest danger being on the hard stand is that when you're up high and you're on stands, if the wind is strong enough, it could potentially blow you over. Well, in a cyclone pit, you can't be blown over because you're already on the ground. And there's plenty of space between you and other boats. We can also offer caretaking services. We could do wipe downs, air out, help with mold control, and this is your best for long-term storage options. And it's also in sailing season, it's actually the cheapest. It's more than half price than staying in the water or on the hard. So if you are considering staying and need to leave your boat for an extended period in sailing season, that's your best option. Hard stand, if you have a catamaran, we lift about 250 cats a year. We're a very busy yard. We do about 2,000 lifts a year in total. But we have got about 30 catamaran hard stand spaces, and they're very popular in cyclone season. We take you out, put you down, and we have 10 tie down areas for cyclone straps. And this is either great for storage or if you need to get some work done as well. So this is I'm getting to the end. There's a 1-minute video at marina. Then So that's pretty much my presentation. I hope you have all got something out of that. If anybody has any questions, please do let me know. And hopefully we get to see you in Fiji sometime soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Adam, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
This is Sailing Yacht Kaizen. What is the tax if you decide to stay longer in Fiji? Because I've been 5 years in French Polynesia, the boat has, not me. And the tax here is 7% of the perceived value. So I decided that was pretty good value rather than having to sail off and stamp somewhere else and come back in. What's the situation there with Fiji?
So Fiji is it's if you import in a vessel, it's 5% duty and whatever the VAT rate is. So at the moment, VAT is 12.5%. If you have a business, you claim that back. So it's going to cost you 5%. But as I said, every time you leave and come back, it restarts the clock. Now, some people have, for circumstances, had to leave their boat longer than 2 years. And so they've asked for, and that they weren't going to keep it in Fiji indefinitely. So they've asked the government for a little bit of dispensation and for some assistance. And so what they've done is they've calculated the value of the vessel, worked out the duty amount payable, and then they've prorated it over, say, five years. So they give a discounted amount if you're only going to stay for another year or so. So there are ways to reduce the full amount that you have to pay.
Okay, that's very helpful.
Okay. Does anybody else have any others? Otherwise, over to you, David. Actually, can I just ask a quick question of pretty much everybody? Are you guys looking at coming to Fiji within a year or 3 years or 5 years, or not coming to Fiji at all? Would love to know what kind of time frame everybody's looking at.
Adam, we're
looking to
looking
be-
probably this year doing
Okay.
Fiji. So and then possibly coming back next year. So yeah, that's our time frame.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking to be there in like 2 months. And I guess I put a question in the chat, but I'm not, this might be more a Vicky question, but I'm wondering about like bottom cleaning regulations going into Australia and whether or not I should like be planning to do it. Can I do it in Fiji when I'm at, we're already scheduled, we're reserved for being in Voodoo Marina. Thank you, Adam. But we'll be probably leaving there late September. And then we will be in New Caledonia middle of October. Is it better to wait, do it later? Do you know? That's my question.
You should be fine. So there are new regulations coming in this year for Australian biosecurity. So we'll do a whole presentation with them just to make sure that you're fully aware of what's going on. But if you're cleaning in September and then you're moving quite quickly, you probably won't pick up anything on the way, and I'm sure you'll be fine. So we'll go through all that in very great detail.
Yeah, Australia
Cool.
and New Zealand
Thanks.
biosecurity can be very tricky. Generally, they want you to arrive with a clean hull. Obviously, they want to protect their local ecosystem. And so we provide a clean hull certificate. So if you haul out and do a pressure wash with us, we can give you a clean hull certificate, which you can then show the authorities because it's dated. This is the date you hauled out and pressure washed. And I think if it's within either 3 months or 6 months, they're generally fine with that. They don't have any concerns.
Okay. We're just looking at those things.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
No worries. Anybody else have some timelines of when they're potentially arriving into Fiji?
Yeah, Jim and I are going to. Oops. Our plan is to haul out in Tonga for the cyclone season, and then when we return, plan to spend a year in Tonga and Fiji. So you will likely be seeing us there.
Excellent. All right. What's
David,
the name of your
what's the
boat?
time frame that you need to make a booking for your berths? I mean, is it you know, do you need to book well in advance? Obviously, you'd like that, but do you have vacancy during that sort of cyclone period, or is that sort of going to be pretty full?
So our cyclone pits sell out generally by July, end of July, early August. So if you are thinking about a cyclone pit, try and get in there as quickly as possible. For a dedicated in-water berth, the sooner you get in, the better, because I've only got 78 of those berths available. And once they're full, that's it.
Yep, fair enough. Thank you.
Adam Kaizen, we've booked with you for 28 because we've shifted our booking. We paid to 27 to go to Vavau. Now you've persuaded us Vavau is so safe. So it's on your call. And we've booked a cyclone pit, and then we'll probably try and stay the full amount that we're allowed to stay in Fiji, and then we might pay the tax. We don't know, but I have a long family history of Vunda Marina. My great aunt married the governor of Fiji, and all the family live in Vuda. So I'm looking forward to getting there. That's called Thompson. So
yes, I know the Thompsons well.
So I'm coming back to rule, if that's okay.
Very good. Yes, I'm sure they'd be interested in catching up with you.
Yeah, I've never met them.
Great family, great family. Sorry, Lisa and Jim, just a question. What was the name of your vessel? Just so I can let Joe know.
That's Raven, and we've already paid a deposit.
Raven. Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
I'll let him know.
Yeah, he's we've been in touch with him.
Right.
Thanks.
And sorry, Jeff, what's your time frame? I'm just kind of going through the screen, just trying to see what's everyone's plan.
Hi, Adam. Yeah, I was actually there a couple of years ago. I just helped a friend deliver up to that marina, to your marina. And he's been there. And then on the puddle jump, I helped another boat come across. So I sort of, I guess, help people sailing backwards and forwards. I don't have a boat myself, but someday I will. Someday I will.
I'm looking for a boat myself too at the moment.
Well, there's a bunch in your marina.
Yes. What about Laurie and Tim? What's your plans? They might not be there.
It's Tim here.
Yep.
I don't know if you can hear me, but tentatively, I guess fall 2027.
Okay. Yep. Nice. Is Laurie there?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, we're just wondering what everybody's plans were. Are you planning to come to Fiji within a year or 2 years or 3 years or?
We're really not sure, but we're going to spend a year in French Polynesia while we're here now in French Polynesia and Tahiti. We just arrived. We've got a year to make up our minds what we're going to do. We may extend a little bit in French Polynesia and then start moving west when we feel it's right. And probably, definitely go to, end up in Fiji and Tonga at some time for the cyclone season and haul out there.
Yeah, nice. Excellent. Yeah, well, one thing definitely, if you're in French Polynesia, make the most of it. It is a stunning part of the world and so much fun. So definitely don't rush through there by any stretch of the imagination. We'll still be here.
Exactly. Hey, thanks, David. I've got a dash. My crew are on the beach going, come and get us. So I'm going to go and get them. So thank you so much. And thanks, everyone. Drop me a message if I can answer any other questions. Nice to see you, Adam. I'll catch up with you next month when I'm in Fiji.
Excellent.
Thanks, Viki. Thanks, Adam, and thanks everybody for joining. So shoot us an email if you have any questions. I look forward to seeing you in Tahiti, for those I haven't seen yet. And then you're gonna see Adam and Viki on your way westward. So enjoy the Pacific and let's keep in touch.
Thanks,
David.
Merci.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.